Ready.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you say everything you gotta say before I speak.
All right, so just to let you know, we try to clear the fire lane clear. We can't have anybody obstructing the fire lane. We have 1,200 acres. You're more than welcome to move anywhere within the 1,200 acres. We also have placards all over the park, posted First Amendment locations. That is not impeding the fire lane.
Okay, so first of all, see this sign right here? You guys put this sign out here.
Which sign?
Was the sign right beyond. I'm literally standing right up against it on purpose to show.
Which sign?
Oh my God, are you that daft? The sign is right here. I said this sign right here.
Okay.
Yeah, this sign.
I wasn't sure what you're
Yeah.
talking.
Okay, this sign's in the walkway. That sign's in the walkway. During the day, these different museums have signs in the walkway all day long. They impede traffic. Just as much as any busker does along this way.
Yes, but you know what's the difference between this sign and that?
I know, you're going to tell me that it can't, what I have can't be moved.
In one shot, right? Like this could be actually tossed over.
If there was an emergency, it could be moved fairly quickly.
Right. Okay. So, just want to let you know.
Just talking about my stuff. If any busker that's here.
So, it would have been great if we had like 15 or 20 people on this side, so I could tell you, hey, everybody's got to move. But you're the only one here.
Mm-hmm. I know y'all have been telling.
Well, I want
you
to be here.
Yeah.
I want you to do your First Amendment protected activity. The one place that they told us that cannot be blocked is the fire lane. That's it. And the fire lane starts.
So what if I decided to stand right here? Now I'm not in the fire lane.
So the fire lane code, the way that it's read, is 25 feet from the curb. So this is 25 feet. So no, I get it. I get it. I want you
and
to
I
be
know,
here.
and I also know from my documentation with the city that none of these fire lanes have actually been authorized by the city. I have documentation to prove that. I've been working with Parks and Rec to keep us along this area.
Yes,
and Parks and
This
Rec.
is what's
and
been
Parks
going on.
and, yeah.
I wonder what happened with the communication between you guys and the rest of.
Well,
the thing.
Parks and Rec continually violate First Amendment rights. It's been an ongoing thing for like 6 months since we had everything written in the code and everything solved. And it just keeps happening. It's like nobody's called me to try to work with me or anything. Instead, they've come up with rules that they can't show any legal paperwork on. They've come up with maps that no one can show who come up with that decision.
As far as I know, the maps aren't even done yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're working on a brochure to be able to explain to all the buskers and everybody here on First Amendment stuff of area. Because right now what's going on is the fire marshal, that's the only reason we even have these signs up. Because yes, historically, no, this was not considered, because there used to be a road. It actually used to be El Prado back in the day, and then they closed it out for pedestrian traffic only.
And a fire lane can't be used against pedestrians, which is what this is. This is a pedestrian area. And I've already talked to lawyers about this and stuff. Like, this is illegal, what y'all are doing. It's straight up a violation of the Constitution. It's not narrowly written down in a code. And that in itself is a step and an overreach of the Constitution, and you guys as rangers are supposed to follow that.
And there's case law, and just like you follow case law when you pull out all the I forget which one versus whatever, but I think there's case law that has instructed that municipalities can regulate time, place, and manner.
Yeah, municipalities can, but there is no written code regulating that time, place, and manner. It's just you guys saying, oh, well, today I decide your time and space and manner can't be here. And then the next day, a different ranger will say something completely different and say that you can be there. So next day, it's completely different.
So just like in the past, everything's been, like, for example, we used to have vehicles go through here. Mm-hmm. We don't anymore.
Really? Because just a week ago, y'all had park ranger vehicles right here.
Authorized vehicles are posted on at the very end, so that's a whole different thing. We also need maintenance to come in and clean up the lily pond. There's maintenance. Obviously, they've roped off the grass area where we normally push people on because of the reseeding that had to be done because it's a maintenance thing. It's a maintenance schedule that hasn't been done. Some of that destruction has been done because we had pushed buskers on that side, people
Well,
with tables. So,
some of that was because there was like an oversaturation of vendors for over a year too.
yes, because we're still trying to get our stuff together. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you right now what would be helpful is instead of trying to like step on people's rights and stuff, like everyone knows who to talk to about working things out and how to smoothly work things out.
Yes.
We could all easily come to a meeting and sit down and have a conversation. But what's happening is people that don't know what busking is, don't busk,
Right.
and don't have anything to do with it at all are trying to tell other people that do what can and cannot be without understanding
What
the
busking
situation is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we should have a say in what laws are being written or being used against
I
us.
could have sworn you part of the SVO thing. You guys were involved in that, weren't you?
The last thing I was involved with was writing the code for First Amendment rights to be put in with the vendor thing.
Right.
And in that code, it
'Cause that's-
straight up says
'Cause
that we're exempted.
That's what started the whole thing with the fire marshal making this.
I
'Cause
know.
He said
And it was for vendors. It was not for buskers.
correct.
And even in the code for buskers, it says we are exempt from everything in that code. Exempt.
For sidewalk vending, yes.
Yeah, well, the things y'all are trying to enforce against us are part of that sidewalk vending code. The blocking of traffic is written under the sidewalk
No,
vending.
it's not. That one's actually a different municipal code. That's actually if you have your phone on you.
They sent me on email like 3 or 4 codes. One where y'all have unbridled discretion to do what y'all want.
Well, I don't know about that.
I read the code. It's extremely vague. And
Right. If you want to scan this,
here, let me get a picture of it. And you know, I don't have anything against you.
and I don't have anything against you. Like I said, I want you guys here, but they're telling us that they got to clear the fire lane. We actually had a. Hi, I'm sorry. If this is still open in this building here, I know they closed the nearest one there, but there's a 24-hour one just down by the organ pavilion. Okay. All right. So, sorry about that.
It's all good. Like you got to do your job.
Well,
you know.
the hat is what usually stops everybody, and everybody wants that. So this here is a QR code that takes you through the PDF of the actual part codes that we operate mostly under, like the 1 through 27. So the 1 through 27 is the ones that we do for the park, like posting of handbills, dog off leash, dog license required, stuff like that. And one of them is obstructing traffic.
But
so,
technically, though, this is not no more than any human being walking up and down the park is obstructing traffic. You know, like.
And I get it, but I know they're making changes. They're gonna try to get something public for everything. And you're right.
Well, there needs to be a
public
meeting.
Forum.
Yeah, because we're not allowed to speak on this. Like that's just overreaching on power. And
right. And it's like someone's. Hi.
How's it going? Sorry to interrupt. Where's the nearest restroom?
So the nearest restroom, the 24-hour one, is over by the Organ Pavilion. But if this building is open, it's on the right-hand side.
Okay, so just right in the building
Yes.
here? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right.
those are cute puppies.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes. So the nearest one, if it's open, it's in this building here. If not, the 24-hour Organ Pavilion restroom. So if you have it down here to your left, you'll see it on the right-hand side, the Organ Pavilion. Across the street is the Thank you. You're welcome.
3 in a row.
Yes. So I used to work at Knott's, and they always ask, "Don't you get tired of people asking the same questions?" It's like that's the first time they've asked me, and I know the answer.
But yeah, I don't have any. There's only one ranger that I have a real problem with, and that's Z. And because Z comes at everybody with a chip on his shoulder,
Yes.
and I do not like that attitude, and that's not an attitude he should be having with people that are expressing their rights.
Correct, and everybody has a different bedside manner. I mean, obviously, we have a different, rapport with you and I because we've talked before, and I got a 2-parter on YouTube from you. but everybody's different. Everybody has a different way of doing things, and then everybody has a different way of looking at stuff. We've actually had a concerted effort with the Rangers to have meetings regarding, hey, what is allowable, what's not allowable. Can we please get clarification from the city attorney's office? That way everybody's on the same page.
City attorney doesn't know either, though. I watched the news, and the city attorney flat out said on the news that if you put a price on it, it's not protected. But Supreme Court has said
that's Dan Palante. I saw that one, and I'm like, he even said park rangers are peace officers. We're public officers. We're not peace officers. We're park rangers. We take care of parks. So
yeah, they need to do a little more research.
Well, not only that, but I guess they said like $4 million for 44 rangers. That's not even a thing. As far as I know, that's not even a thing. So I mean, I don't know who might have talked or whatever, but I know we're not getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're
well, they're probably going to say that the training that y'all have to get is what's going to cost the $4 million. And I don't know.
I don't know. But yes, so I've been asked to talk to you about this, the fire lane. That's it.
Okay. So am I good here for the rest of the day? Because I really don't want to have to move. Day's almost over. Freaking.
So
I want to figure this stuff out and work it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, that's the most important thing.
Did you lose the points of contacts that you had prior to?
No, I keep emailing them. Okay, so Ruiz,
yeah, our chief,
he makes up excuses for every single ranger, including Z, every single time a ranger does something. So I don't trust him anymore. He is not a viable source to talk to. Cassidy seems a little more willing to talk, but he still makes up excuses for every single ranger, which means...
Hi.
Are there any restrooms nearby?
So if this building is open, it's in this building here.
Okay.
If not, it's at the Oregon Pavilion. Next to the Oregon Pavilion, there's a 24-hour restroom there.
Okay, I'll try this one first. Thank you.
Everybody that I've talked to at the heads of Parks and Rec say they don't even know what's going on exactly, that everybody's confused right now, that there is no... significant thing.
You know what I think is going on is we're having growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
We're having growing pains because they just wanted to take care of the sidewalk vending ordinance as soon as possible because they, city council was getting pushed back by the citizens, and it did look like a swap meet here, and it was like, well, we're losing the allure of the natural park. Of the urban park here, and it's like, okay, I see it, I get it, but
look at this. Look at this right here. If it wasn't for this right here, half the people that come here would not have a reason to be here. They would not want to walk around.
Because most of the museums are gone.
Yeah, I mean, all day long, I watch people gather around Buskers and stuff, and it's a draw.
Yes, and I ran into a new one. I've never seen her before, but I guess she does. She's a statue, but she's a colorful statue.
Alice?
I don't know what her name.
She looks like the Queen of Hearts.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen her before.
She actually asked me if she was okay over there. I'm like, as long as you're not, because she was going to set up here, and we were able to talk to her and explain, because she wanted shade. And I'm like, right now the only shaded places I know is not where the other First Amendment location is.
And then the locations that y'all have are way out of the way of foot traffic. That's not how First Amendment rights work. You've got to have people where... The whole point of busking is to be where the crowd is. If there is no crowd, there is no point. Same way with doing a protest. Protest doesn't go down the back alley. It goes right into the heart of things because we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be known.
Yes.
And selectively, there was enforcement for a busker on the fountain, but when we did a protest on the fountain, no enforcement at all. We had speakers, we were loud, we were trying to get attention, and no one even came out and said anything to us, and that's selective enforcement. It says, well, one First Amendment right is okay here.
So if this building's open, then the restrooms are going to be right inside to the right. If not, then the Oregon Pavilion restrooms are down to the left.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Me too.
But it's like, that's selective enforcement. Straight up. It's like saying, well, one First Amendment thing is okay, but if you take money, you're not allowed. And that is not how it works.
So yeah, because you were asking me if I was here on Saturday. I'm like, oh no.
Well, I know you weren't here. I was just
No.
like basically trying to find out where all the Rangers were
Yeah,
again.
and I have no idea because I mean on Saturday I was taking my 80-year-old dad out to go one of his outings that he does and then I went to go visit my mom who doesn't remember who I am anymore. So that's
Well,
where
I'm sorry she doesn't remember.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean Alzheimer's, that's going to happen. But it's like, But yeah, that's the only, I was trying to answer your question. You're like, wait, where's everybody at? I know where you're trying to get to. It's like, yeah, where was everybody at? But I do have photographs of Rangers in the area when you guys were here set up. Because I that was the first time I ever.
Where's the nearest restroom?
The nearest restroom is in this building if it's still open. If not, it's going to be at the Oregon Pavilion by the 24-hour restroom that's down there. It's down here to your left. But if Panama 66 is open, then you should be able to use that one.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
You're right.
But yeah. And yeah, I wasn't trying to be a jerk earlier. It's just
No,
like
no.
literally I got here and there's already people getting messed with is what I'm seeing. And it's like, I thought we were getting past this,
Yes.
Especially since I've talked to several presidents of the museums and they want us all down here. They want us all along this. Like they like it here because it does help draw in the crowd.
A perfect example, we had a busker that at the time, remember when we issued the permits? Forget what her name was. She was a clown, and she would, kids love her and stuff like that. So she during December nights, it's a permitted event, and she didn't have a permit for it. And I'm like, come on, you got to go. But I suggested to her that she get in touch with one of the institutions. The next year, I saw her. Hey, and she showed me I'm with this institution. I'm like, that's beautiful.
Thing is, though, last year we found out that even if it is a permitted event, it's okay for buskers to be here because legally, permit event or not, special event or not, buskers are allowed to be anywhere that there's foot traffic, and even in the California state.
So even in a permitted event where people are like, hey, this area.
Yeah, under the city code, it says special events exemptions, and it says First Amendment protected activities.
Do you know what number that is? I would love to research that.
I don't know it right offhand, but I could find it for you if you want to write down an email or something. But yeah, it's special events. It says that. I know because at a street fair, Sergeant Mendoza has been after me at every street fair, and we went to court over it, and I got my case dismissed in the interest of justice because of that one little piece of code that says that First Amendment activity is allowed at special events. My email address?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the code number offhand. Yeah, I'd have to go through my files at home.
Okay, I mean, I could research it.
I just know it's under special events. Like if you look up the code for special events, it's literally at the very bottom of that.
When SB 946 got passed and decriminalized the sidewalk vending, it had an exemption for farmers markets and any permitted events.
That's for vendors, though. That doesn't count for First
Yeah.
Amendment.
So and it's like,